Hi, I'm Adam. This video is part of a free course to help you understand your audience and increase your sales. Get it now free at funnelcandy.com/research. All right, let's dive in. Now it's time to create an ideas list. During this whole research process, you've been gathering a ton of feedback from lots of different places and people. Now, once you've got your research document finalized, you're naturally going to start thinking about ideas that you can use to improve your website, improve your lead gen, improve your sales, improve your UX, develop better products. But you need a place to capture all of these ideas. And that's where the ideas list comes into play. So what you'll do is you'll review your research document and you'll be thinking of improvements along the way, and you can add them into an ideas list. Now that's step one, once you've put the ideas in there. And that's an ongoing process. You always want to be generating as many ideas as you can and capturing them in a single source of truth that you can share with other people. Once the ideas go into this ideas list, you want to start rating them based on two criteria. The first is, what's the probability that it'll increase sales or whatever other goal its purpose is? For example, increasing net promoter score for happier customers or reducing churn. You want to identify what's the main goal and then score it based on the likelihood that this idea will work. Now, you might be thinking, well, this is great, but how do I know if the idea is going to work or not? Well, look at your research. If you have a ton of research where people are saying, I like this product, but a free trial would have made all the difference for me, then by all means, you want to try offering a free trial and see what type of impact that has on your front-end conversions, as well as your long-term sales. So that would be an example of something you would score high. On the other hand, if somebody says, let's say somebody on your team says, let's just have an orange button instead of a blue one. Well, what research says anything about that? If you don't have any research to support it, then chances are it's not going to have a big impact. The second criteria that you want to use is how easy it is to implement. So for example, if you wanted to rewrite a headline that uses the words that your market uses and directly addresses the concerns and questions that you've identified from the research, that's really easy to do because it's just text. You can rewrite that very quickly. So that would be a 5. That's an easy one. Hard one would be, let's say, changing your entire business model. That would take weeks, if not months, to put into place. So make it a habit whenever you're going through these ideas to start thinking about scoring them accordingly based on these two criteria. Then once you have those two numbers, you simply multiply them together and you can work on the highest rated ideas. Here's an example of a prioritized ideas list. You'll see here on the left-hand side, we've got the page or the part of the funnel. Then you have the idea itself that's next to it. Each one is then scored based on those two criteria: the probability to increase sales or whatever other goal you're looking at, and the ease of implementation. Then you can just set up a column, in this case, column E or the priority column, that just multiplies those two numbers together. And that way, the cream of the crop rises to the top. Makes it really easy for you to go through these ideas and know which ones are going to be the biggest impact with the least amount of effort. Now, if you're a solopreneur, it's really easy to just have an ideas list that you can put your ideas in yourself, you score them, and you move on. However, if you are working with a larger team, you're going to need to answer the following questions. I'll walk through each of them and offer my advice on each. So the first one is, who's responsible for generating ideas? Now, sometimes on teams, people can get a little precious about this. They might think, well, hey, I'm the expert. I should be the one coming up with the ideas. I disagree. Everyone on your team should have the right to submit ideas. Everyone. You might get your best idea from a salesperson or a customer service agent or the CEO. You don't know. And frankly, it doesn't matter. You want to capture as many ideas as possible, and then you can go ahead and score them. I'll get to that in just a moment. But the next question is, how do you collect the ideas from your team? The simplest way to do this is to create a form. Now, if you're using a spreadsheet, like you can see here in this one, it's very easy. So like this is a Google sheet. You can just create a Google form that asks people to fill out each of these sections. So what page are you referring to? What is your idea? Don't worry about asking them to include the scores, like the probability to increase the sales or the ease of implementation. You can just ask, where are you thinking and what's your idea? Keep it really, really simple. Once they fill out that form, it then goes into a Google sheet along with everyone else's ideas. So you can always look at those new ideas as they come in and then add them to your ideas list. Now, this ties into the third question here. Who's responsible for prioritizing the ideas? Now, as I mentioned, everyone in the organization should be allowed and encouraged to generate ideas and submit them. When it comes to prioritizing the ideas and assigning scores, however, you'll want to keep a relatively small team. Back in my consulting days, I would usually gather a small team, let's say 3 to 5 people, and we would go through and talk to the ideas on a call. And then we would score them together. Now, keep in mind, I was an expert in this field. I had done this at a high level for over a decade. So I would sometimes give some friendly pushback if somebody would say, oh, this idea, it's not going to work. And I'd say, well, I know this has worked in the past, so let's try and bump this up a little bit. When you are working with your team, you'll want to have the people who are the experts at marketing, conversion optimization. Let's say your copywriters, you want your designers involved, as well as the leadership. The key thing to remember here, though, is that the person in charge of this whole project, the person who's been doing the research, who has been running the research, who is generating the ideas and prioritizing them, they're the ones who should be responsible at the very end for prioritizing the ideas. You don't want to just open this up to like 50 people on your team, because you're going to get a wide variety of ideas, and frankly, it's not to everyone's skill set. If you've been very close to this research, you know in the back of your mind 3 or 4 objections that are the key ones, and if somebody comes across with an idea that doesn't address those, you know that's probably not going to work as well as something that does. So when you're prioritizing these as a team, remember, you can have everyone in your organization generate ideas, but very few people should be involved at prioritizing. One last thing to consider is, do you want to use a spreadsheet or a database? In the past, I always use a spreadsheet. It's simple, a Google form to a Google Sheet. If you want to use Notion or something else, that's totally cool too. Having said that, it can get a little wonky. That's why I recommend a database if you're already familiar with using one. If you already have a database or use something like Airtable or a Notion database, it's really easy to have a form where everybody's ideas go into it, and then you can tag them in different ways. So a database is probably easier for slicing and dicing the data and keeping track of what's being worked on and what's not. But a spreadsheet is very low tech and very easy for everyone to use. So take your pick. They both work. At the end of the day, it's just whatever you're most comfortable with. So to quickly recap from everything that we've done in this course, you've gone through all of the research, you've gotten tons of insights from lots of different places and people. You've taken all of those insights and put them into your research document so that you and the rest of your team can access it whenever you want to. And then as you've gone through all of that research, you and the rest of your team can start adding ideas on how to improve the business, how to improve your products, how to have happy customers, how to get more customers. You'll have all of these ideas in one central location, whether it's a spreadsheet or a database, that you and a small number of people on your team can then go through and prioritize those ideas. And from there, you've got a very clear idea backed by what your audience is telling you, based on what your visitors, your prospects, your customers, what they're all telling you. You have a very clear roadmap of what you should be working on next. And this is incredibly valuable. So at this stage, you're in a great spot. You've got an excellent roadmap of what to do next. And if you want to go ahead and do all of these ideas yourself and start implementing ideas and split testing them or just implementing them and charging ahead, by all means, go for it. If you're looking for somebody to help you actually implement these ideas, generate new ideas, and grow your business, I'd highly recommend you check out the company Conversion Rate Experts. That's the company that Darcy and I were consultants with for over a decade. They are the best in the business. I'm not getting paid to say this. It's just that Darcy and I don't do consulting anymore. So if you really want this done and you want it done the right way, Conversion Rate Experts is the place to be. And they are the people that will do the best job for you. So I hope you've enjoyed this class as much as I've enjoyed teaching it. Darcy and I have put together a lot of stuff here. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to either respond to the email lessons as they come out or to leave comments on each of these lessons. Furthermore, I do occasionally offer some coaching calls. So if you wanted to have like a 30 or 60-minute call to just kind of get unstuck, or if you just need some guidance, I'm more than happy to do that as well. Now, as you probably can imagine, we are nuts about feedback. That's what we've been talking about throughout this entire course. So if you do have any feedback, good, bad, let us know. Go ahead and respond to those emails or just shoot me an email. I would love to hear from you and figure out some new ways that we can make this course even better for you. So I hope you've enjoyed it and all the best to you. You've got a lot of great work ahead of you and even better results. Congratulations, and let us know how it goes. Thanks for listening. This video is part of a free course on how to understand your audience and increase your sales. You can get the full course for free at funnelcandy.com/research. See you there.